nearing the end of junior year, I became honestly obsessed and enamored with the idea of parenting a child. And looking back, I think it was because of how much counsel and mentoring I was getting by the older men and women at Pacifica. I would do Bible studies, I would do book studies, I would go through essays with them, I would meet with them for coffee to talk about their lives and my life and all sorts of things. And much like the Christian life, how our love for Jesus does overflow out of us, that was kind of the same thing with the mentoring. I was getting so much, almost felt selfish how much attention I was able to get from these people and how much they were able to help me with these things that I was walking through my life. And eventually, I realized I wanted to do that for someone. It made me look to this idea of being a dad as exactly as that. The biggest way I think about being a dad is the most intimate form of discipleship to have with a human being, and I think that's an incredible blessing. With that, I wanted to learn about how to do that. I wanted to understand the complexities and intricacies of having a child and being married and having multiple children and how to parent them when they're young and getting older. And so I realized I wanted to do a podcast. I wanted to interview people, great parents that I thought really exemplified that. I ended up with landing on about 23 or 22, and I reached out to them. And so that was actually one of the most fun parts, being able to really think about them and make questions. You know, some of them were, hey, they're a coach, they are a teacher, they are a priest, they're a pastor. That certainly has to affect their parenting. What is that like? How does that balance? Some of them adopted. Some parents unfortunately lost their parents when they were young. Some parents came from previous divorces. Some parents had all girls. Some parents had all boys. Some parents had only one boy and 5 girls. What is that like? What are the dynamics like? How did you parent your children at each ages? And then it got to recording, and that was the easiest part because I would have the iPad of the topics I had at my right side, and I just told them, hey, this is going to be a conversation, and we would record for about 40 minutes. And that was the average length for the episodes, and it was very great. You know, obviously, I'm not a father, and so I had very little to say about the things that they were saying. I had very little advice to give, still very much do, but it was mainly me kind of pushing back, wanting to clarify, ask more follow-up questions. It got to be these amazing conversations that I now have and get to listen to and get to reflect on. So coming to the end of the senior project, I now have 23 episodes of content and parents really expressing their personal experiences with their children. As I leave Pacifica now as a senior, and with the senior project being completed, I would say the biggest thing I've learned from both of those is wanting to be in the presence of goodness. Dr. Woods, for his last chapel sermon, expressed to all the students, I hope you know by the end of the time that you've been here, you can look around and say, man, these teachers really loved me. They were good people. Pacifica, we're striving after good things. That's kind of pretty much our motto. It seems like we are pursuing the good life. We are trying to read and fellowship and have difficult conversations with each other and go to dances, play sports. These are intrinsically good things, but there is a certain intangible, inexplicable brilliance and goodness to the human soul, especially one that's dedicated to the kingdom of God. And being in that environment at Pacifica, being molded by that for 4 years now, I want to take that with me, and that's changed my life immensely.